What's up, guys? Holding Addis 50 here, bringing you That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime anime review. This is episode 15, titled Javar Forest Alliance. As this episode implies, we have the continuation of the unresolved war, and we have, inside the Lizardman cave, we have the Lizardman and the Chief on one side. On the other side, we have the general of the Orc army and some of his people on the other side. Then we have Rimuru and people sitting in the front. And we have the druid trainee in the side. And basically, Rimuru, we had a final moment where he thought that she was going to speak on this and be the one to open up this conversation. But instead, she again turned it around and she made Rimuru become the speaking host. So he had to get up there and speak, and he was super nervous. So he told them, I'm going to tell you what I think publicly, my public opinion on this. And he was like, I don't believe the orcs should be punished, because if any other creature was going through what they was going through starvation and famine, they would have turned the same thing and should have turned tail and attacked the nearest kingdom to get the prevalence they need. So I don't not blame him for that. But at the same time, I did promise their king that I would take up their sins upon me. So if you have any complaints, you can just take that up with me. And the orcs were very shocked and surprised, and they were like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, I promised this to your king, so I'm sure. Then the Lizardman chieftain was like, well, that's fine, but what are you going to do with all these orcs? There's 150,000 orcs left from the 3,000. So what are you going to do? And he was like, well, I was hoping that we can all get along and, you know, live together. And they all looked at him and they're like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, y'all lizard folk will give us clean water and fish. We will provide homes for the orcs, and the orcs will provide work for us. And we could just all share resources this way and go back and forth. And everybody, you know, it would be a win-win deal for everybody. And of course, the druid trainee, she was there, she was like, you know, I accept this if y'all do, and everyone ends up saying, okay, fine, we accept this, since technically we'll all be working together and it's better that way than being enemies and fighting over stuff. So they got over that pretty quickly, and then Trini came out and she put some more in her bigger spots, and she was like, well, since allied services now, you know, now that we're officially allied, we're gonna make Rimuru chancellor for this. And he was like, wait, what? Me chancellor? And before he even get the chance to speak, to like say I don't want this opportunity, everyone already got in front of him and bowed. Even his own people, the not the orcs, the Majins, or Kajins, I believe they pronounce, the advanced ogres. Even they bowed to him as well. Before he even get to say anything, he was like, I guess it'd be rude for me to take it back, so oh well. He decided to take it, his, you know, his position. And we also get this one moment where we get character development for Benihime, the older brother, the guy with the red hair who has fire powers, the new orc leader, you know, the general who's now leading the orcs. He begged them, you know, I know that what we did to your people, annihilating them, I know that's extremely sinful, and I know that's very hard to forgive, and I know what I'm about to ask for you is selfish, but if you can, I would like for you to take my head and forgive my people. And then, you know, he's bowing to Benihime, and Benihime looking down on him, and it looks at first like he's upset and like he's about to take the opportunity to do so, but he tells him, we all got titles from Rimuru, and the first one to show up, of course, the big boob orc, ogre, she's the samurai, secretary, guardian of Rimuru. Then the big guy is the blacksmith. The princess, the sister, she is known as the holy princess. Then we have the old man who's the instructor, and we have Sai as the spy. And Benihime, his is that he is the general of the army, so he oversees everything from Rimuru. And he was like, it'd be disrespectful for me to have this position and off somebody just because I don't like them, even though we need them for military strength. So he said, if you really want to apologize, don't ever betray Rimuru and work, be butter for him, basically was his point. And Pig got up crying. He was like, I definitely won't do no harm to him. And I promise to, be a hard worker. And, they walked away. And Rimuru was like, oh, wow, I'm impressed. I could learn a lot from Van Halen. Maybe I should need to be more like that. Then we cut over and we have like a few days, I guess. Not a few days, but we have like a few months time skip. When everybody's working together and getting along. And they've built bridges. They have a dam now. They have a whole bunch of houses. And stuff like that, and everyone's getting along. Then appears the Dwarf King with an army, and things didn't look too well because they all looked like super angry at like Rimuru and his people. And when he came down, he technically challenged Rimuru to a one-on-one match. He wanted to see if Rimuru was a good person or a bad person, and he believed by having this one little sparring match that he'd be able to realize what is he, good or bad. So Rimuru decided to have this one-on-one sparring match. Trainee, the druid again, she pops out of nowhere and she's like, I'll be the ref for this match, for this bout. And they fought, and Rimuru's running up to him and doing all these strike slashes, but he's just parrying them off. And he tells him, are you just playing around or is this all your strength? And he was like, I'm starting off slow. I'll pick up soon. And then Rimuru ended a dialogue to himself saying, wow, this guy is strong. And no matter what Rimuru did, he just parried it all. Then he got into this one sword stance. It's like a knight stance. When he's like this with his sword. And he's on his side. And he charges towards Rimuru. And the first time he charges towards him, he becomes invisible. And Rimuru doesn't know where he's coming from. And a strike had came down from... We don't know if it was down on the side, but it looked like it was coming down. And Rimuru dodged it, but he realized he still got kind of cut, like his hair. And then he thought to himself, if this is the case, the second strike most likely going to be from the air. And again, he was just guessing because he didn't know where it was going to come from. He was just, from his battle experience that he has, which is not much, he was just assuming that. So before anything happened, he just closed his eyes and went like this with his sword. And he was able to block the second attack. And the king was like, oh wow, you were actually able to block my attack. And he was like, you win. And then Trainee was like, yep. The match is over. Rimuru wins, and he was like, what? And everyone was happy for him. And the king was like, I'm surprised you were able to actually block my attack. And Rimuru was like, he was very honest. He was like, I was only able to do it because my instructor here always does the same thing to me and catches me with it. And he was like, your instructor? And that's when we find out that that old man from the orgs, he was actually this guy's teacher. Like, he actually found him as a baby, abandoned, and actually raised him. So that's like his master / stepfather. So he was really so happy to see him. And he even praised him, saying that your strike is better than mine, and you finally surpassed me. And the Dwarf King was like embarrassed, and he was like, nah, I'm happy you said that. And he just bowed his head in embarrassment, being, praised by his teacher / dad. So, and then, later on that night, they had a party, and everyone's drinking and feasting together. And he brings up a point to Rimuru, saying, have you ever was thinking about making an alliance with, or a treaty, I should say, with my Dwarf Kingdom? And he was like, what? And the Dwarf King, explained to him the benefits of them being trading and back and forth and them collaborating. And Rimuru was like, well, I didn't think about it, but since it is a good idea and it could benefit everybody, sure, why not? Then the Dwarf King sprinkled on him something else. And he was like, so what is the name of this nation that you have? And Rimuru was like, oh, snap. I never gave this, any thought. So he was stuck in place. And he just randomly spurred out, this is going to be the Gerard Tempest Forest Federation. And everybody else is just agreeing with it and saying, fine, then if this is the case, this city is going to be known as Capital Rimuru. And he was, whoa, what? And everyone is just ignoring him, giving out, and accepting his name and calling the city after him. So he basically called this country the Gerard Tempest Foundation, but the city's named after him. He didn't really give a chance to name the cities because, like I said, they interrupted him and gave him the name. So it was funny, and everyone accepted it, and he was just there like, okay, I guess another great responsibility for me. And remember, he's lazy. He doesn't really want all this responsibility and power, but he's getting it anyway, so it's funny. But yeah, that was basically the end of the episode. We did have one small clip of the episode where like somebody was like watching, you know, that old Demon King was watching him and he was kind of upset. Now he has an idea what he wants to do with Rimuru. And that's actually the title we get for the next episode. The Demon Malva, I believe his name is, appears or attacks. So he's going to eventually try to attack the nation of Tempest Federation. So can't wait to see what happens next episode. But this was a great episode. It was more built up. Wasn't really any action except for that couple of scenes between the King and Rimuru. But great episode. Love the action and dialogue. And I got to say, I was really, really shocked and surprised because we got a new opening and ending for episode 15. And I loved it. I love the original opening and ending for the first half, but the second half, I loved it as well. That's the one thing I have to admit that I love the most about this anime is their art style and their music choice. It's really, really good. So if you haven't watched the episode, I advise you to watch it. If you already watched it, go watch it again. Great episode. It was a build-up episode, but it was really good. It wasn't one of those build-up information episodes that's boring. It actually had some sauce to it. It was good. Very good. But that's all I have for you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts about this episode and what you think is going to happen next episode. Please no spoilers, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.